The anime started with Yuno, a young girl who lives in the Nagan Labyrinth City. She attends the Magic Academy where she learns about words arts. The teacher explains that the term used for techniques capable of distorting different types of phenomena, only using the will in their words. He also explains that everyone in this world can use the power, despite the differences between races of language systems. However, Yuno didn't pay much attention to classes. She was looking at her colleague and the girl noticed Yuno and smiled at her, startling her. After class, the girl named Lucille comes to Yuno and asks if she's busy. Yuno denies it and Lucille asks her to be taught some force arts. Yuno is confused about the request, but Lucille explains that Yuno is great at it. After some insistence, Yuno decides to accept the request. Yuno then explains that Nagan Labyrinth City is full of scholars and explorers. She reveals the city was built from the center of the Great Labyrinth of Kaizuna, a random pleb who self-proclaimed himself as Demon King. This labyrinth was filled with mechanical golems and treasure. However, some of those golems started to come out of the Great Labyrinth. Some men combined their forces to take it down, but after some seconds the golem reactivates. The men start fighting back again while Yuno is in the middle of the city teaching Lucille. After a quick lesson, Lucille puts everything into practice and casts a spell to make a pebble float and spin around. The girls then decide to get some food while talking about their world. They talk about how the Central Kingdom decided to crown Sapphire of the United Western Kingdom as queen and created Oriatia. The girls' friendship starts to grow over the day, and as they walk, Lucille asks if Yuno has a crush on someone, but of course Yuno cannot say it is her. The two decided to go outside the city and sit while eating some snacks. Lucille mentions the stories of the Great Labyrinth having so many secrets and relics that they could. In short, if they manage to find something of value inside, their future will be granted. Yuno confirms and Lucille takes this chance to rest her head on Yuno's shoulder. Yuno first stares at her but smiles while thinking that she doesn't have to be scared anymore. The true Demon King is dead and the age of fear is gone. Now, she and Lucille will be able to dream about a future filled with happiness. However, that didn't age well when the girls decided to return to the city. Upon taking their first steps inside, a huge earthquake occurred. They fell to the ground and Yuno could only see the building collapsing on top of everyone around. The girls look around in shock and start listening to some voices. Suddenly they see a light behind them. In the next second, Yuno watches a metal golem stepping on top of Lucille while pulling her arm. Yuno can only call out for Lucille's name as she's Sakura 3.0 while watching the golem pulling out Lucille members one by one. The golem continues pulling bit by bit until the girl no longer survives. Yuno turns on girl mode and starts running and screams while her friend is turned into mincemeat. She sees a survivor in the middle of the street begging for help. However, that same woman is crushed by a huge golem. Yuno puts on her sonic boots and runs in the other direction. She manages to get outside the city and looks back to the destruction. Instead of feeling relieved, Yuno falls to her knees. Feeling hopeless, she wishes that she meant the same fate as her friend. The golems walked among the ruins, making her realize something. Despite the death of the true Demon King, nobody understood that that was the end. Suddenly, she hears a noise and notices that a golem has chased her. She panics for survival and tries to defeat it using her magic power. The golem suddenly collapses, making her confused. She approaches it, asking why it would be defeated just by that attack. She begins to panic, realizing that she could have used her power to save Lucille. More golems appeared to attack her and Yuno uses her magic again to defeat the golems, but it doesn't work. She starts backing down, accepting her defeat. She just wants to be killed. She tells the golems to kill her as her last wish and they all charge at her. Yet, suddenly every golem is sliced into pieces one by one. She looks around as she sees every golem fall, confused. Just then, she listens to a guy named Sujiro next to her. He asks her if she wants to die, but she's confused by everything that has happened. Nobody is supposed to cut through a golem's armor. Sujiro yells her back to reality, asking the same question. She panics, explaining she doesn't. Sujiro calls her a weirdo but considers that it would be a waste if she died here when things are becoming fun for humans. Yuno gets confused but Sujiro starts walking away, mentioning that once everything else goes away she will be free to do anything she wants. After looking at his sword, Yuno realizes it should be impossible to slice the golems with a chip practice sword. She then suddenly asks if he's a visitor. Sujiro sighs, mentioning that everyone calls him that. He continues walking away and Yuno notices that every golem around has been defeated. Sujiro is impressed that machines also exist in this world. However, despite their numbers they cannot match his sword. Yuno is confused when he picks up some leaves and eats them. She explains that it's poisonous and he recognizes it by its taste. He asks if she has some food with her, but she simply replies that he should run away. No matter how strong he is, he will die in this place. Sujiro is confused about those words, but she simply points out in anger to a huge golem, asking if he can also cut him down in one slice. That legendary rank golem is in fact the labyrinth created to destroy the true demon king. Yuno begins to panic again, but Sujiro slides under her skirt and uses his foot to push his sword into a golem behind her. Yuno is confused about how he can even use the kind of technique, but Sujiro is more interested in food. He asks her for some, mentioning he hasn't had breakfast yet. She replies that she has some rations, but it doesn't taste well. Sujiro thinks she's hard to talk to and tells her to give him some. He calls it an exchange, making her confused. He replies that he will take the huge golem down as is part of the deal. He reveals that he was going to do it anyways, but now he will do it for food. Sujiro analyzes the golem, making his psycho instincts start to kick in, and he thinks this will be fun. Yuno asks about Sujiro technique, where is he from and who he is. Sujiro simply replies he's the last Yagyu on Earth, which is the oldest and most renowned Japanese school of swordsmanship. We then find out that Sujiro is called a visitor because he comes from another world, and the only way for him to be in this world is because his power was too strong for his original world. However, some visitors will bring prosperity while others bring chaos. Sujiro asks about her word arts as he wants to learn. However, Yuno replies that visitors cannot use this type of power. She mentions what she was taught in school. The world of visitors is built based on the laws of physics, therefore they can only use words as sounds to speak. Sujiro is initially confused but realizes they don't speak Japanese there. Yuno continues explaining that they simply ask for something to happen and it happens. In short, visitors cannot use it because their brain is just built different. Sujiro decides to leave this subject because all he needs is his sword. Yuno warns that he will die, but he couldn't care less. She explains that nobody will thank him for killing the huge golem and they should run. Sujiro is still confused, but she simply replies that if they die, it will be the end. However, Sujiro is dumbfounded. The only way this would be the end is if the legendary golem was unbeatable. Those words beat Yuno's heart, made of glass, who remembers her friend. She regrets leaving her behind and says that she cannot ask Sujiro to fight for her. However, Sujiro couldn't care less about her. The golem is looking at him in the wrong way and he thinks this is fun. The two monsters stare at each other and Sujiro starts running forward. He rushes at the big golem, eliminating the small ones on charging at him on his way. In a quick mix of swings, every golem is turned into sliced metallic bacon. Yuno cannot believe how quick he is. The huge one uses its right arm to punch him, creating a huge cloud of smoke. But Sujiro jumped up before the blow landed and ran up its arm. The golem activates his traps and summons even more small golems, but Sujiro doesn't back down. Well, he actually jumps down to attract the golems into falling and sticks his sword into the huge golem. While sliding, he jumps and slices the small golems while using their bodies to propel himself into the air, managing to reach the huge golem's shoulder. The huge golem swings his arm, launching Sujiro into the sky. The golem opens up its chest and starts casting a huge fire spell that destroys everything around. Yuno's eyes are wide open. She cannot believe that a golem of that size can use this destructive magic. She convinces herself that this was too reckless. Not only the city was fried, but it also destroyed Sujiro with it. Yet, suddenly the golem's head is sliced and falls. Sujiro appears on top of it, confusing Yuno, who doesn't understand what happened. Sujiro mockingly thanks the golem for giving him a free path to victory. The golem tries to attack him again, but Sujiro uses his most powerful counter technique to cut the golem's arm apart. The arm then continues to fly due to the momentum and destroys the golem's left shoulder, which is where the core is located. As the golem slowly falls down, Sujiro slides down, revealing this technique is called Ninioshi. This makes every small golem deactivate and fall to the ground. Yuno cannot believe Sujiro really managed to kill it. However, she doesn't understand why the Great Labyrinth has started moving today. She wonders if it reacted because Sujiro is here, or maybe she thinks Sujiro activated it on purpose because he wanted to fight. Sujiro comes back and claims this was more fun than cutting an M1. She's confused, but he simply replies it's a tank. She freaks up asking how he did it because nobody could kill those golems. However, Sujiro simply explains all of the golem's flaws. Its legs were too close to the ground, the waist had too much weight, the chest was basically a flamethrower, and it used its right arm to attack first. That only means the core was on the left arm. Sujiro starts walking away to leave, but she stops him to give the rations. He thanks her and eats it right away while she thinks about how she hates strong people. She thinks that strong people made her life insignificant despite forgetting that she's 3.0 Sakura. She thinks of herself as a weakling in this type of situation who cannot deny her weakness, and that's why she must find a new goal. Sujiro is licking his fingers and asks where he should go to have some fun. Yuno replies he should go to Orisha because it's the largest human country. He asks if there are strong people there and she confirms. Sujiro smiles like a psycho and Yuno explains Orisha is planning something big. They're gathering the strongest heroes in the world. Sujiro feels happy about it and starts walking. However, Yuno thinks that she will find someone they're strong enough to kill Sujiro in Orisha. She thinks about every legendary hero in that country who should be strong enough to kill him, and the only reason she wants him dead is because he couldn't care less about her pathetic self. She offers to show him the way because Orisha won't suspect him because she's a scholar from Nagon. Before heading out, Sujiro asks for her name. She replies Yuno the distant Talon. That brings the episode to an end. Thanks for watching. Want next part? Subscribe the channel and turn on notification bell.